Hello, today it's July the 24th and we're walking our 17th section today, and we're walking from West Angle Bay to Stack Rock. As you can see, I'm not outside today. We called in to the cafe at West Angle Bay and they do a marvellous breakfast here. Fantastic cakes, you can see. I thought I'd do a quick advert for them. I've had a really nice coffee and a really nice breakfast, which we weren't going to do before we started, so we now started a bit late. We're walking about 11 miles today, but I'd just like to thank the ladies in the cafe for a really nice breakfast. So thank you very much for a really nice breakfast and a really nice start this morning. It's really good.
You're really welcome. Okay, good. Enjoy your day.
Good. Okay, it says there's an old clay pit by the toilets. Well, it's behind the toilets, a clay pit. I can see certainly I can see the toilet. And it says there are medieval remains here as well. And I can see what looks like an old chimney stack, maybe an old church by this, the end of the field here. So we're saying goodbye to Angle, and we're now off back. This is a cafe. We're now back off on our walk to Stack Rock. Certainly I've had a fantastic breakfast. I hope I'll walk it off. And I hope it doesn't rain at the end of the day. I think it's due to rain at the end of the day. I might be regretting spending an extra half an hour having a big breakfast, but never mind. I don't feel I've got any regrets at the moment. So looking back on Angle Bay West, back on Thorn Island, forwards to the signposts. We're definitely on the path. And up onto the edge of the coast path. We've got lots of blackberry bushes here. They're not ready yet, but there certainly will be a lot of blackberries here at some point. Leaving the haven, you can see the geography of this and why the settlements ended up where they did. Obviously, Angle was in a brilliant position to for trade and to get to it by sea only. Dale equally is in a brilliant position to get to by sea. Both these places are not places that were originally there because you could get there easily by road. So it's very interesting to look at the geography of this part of Pembrokeshire and the inland waterways. Go back a little bit that way, and you can see how it was defended both in the middle there and over on the edge that side. And we should just be going around the corner now, and we should start to be able to see East Block House. There are two East Blocks. There is a very old Elizabethan East Block house that the Elizabethans built when they had a panic after the Armada, that oh my goodness, we couldn't leave our shores undefended. So there is a very old Elizabethan, quite rare really, Elizabethan walls that are nearly toppling into the sea. And then there is a further Victorian, I think it's built in 1854, East Block house that was built and used in mid-Victorian times. So, okay, just up the hill, we can see on the right then, we'll get a bit nearer, but the ruin is the Elizabethan East Block house on the very edge. Possibly you can see how far the coast has eroded, so I'm not sure that it was built that near the edge. Private land on that left. And what can you see? What are you looking at?
I think that's the Victorian blockhouse.
You think that's a Victorian blockhouse there? Very possibly. Tucked away there. I'm not sure that it's not round the corner here, but we'll have a look on the actual point. So there is East Block House sitting proudly or as a ruin on the edge of the coast. Honeysuckle's now out. It's nice to not have some bracken at the moment. It's nice to be clear of bracken. And just going past the Elizabethan East Block House with the sea on my right. And on up the hill. I think to my left coming up will be another airfield, Angle Airfield, which, as I explained in a previous video, there was a bit of a panic 1940-41 when Pembroke Dock was bombed. There was then a rush and they built 15 airfields around Pembrokeshire as a result. Morning. We now are looking at Sheep Island ahead of us, where there was a substantial, like Gatehole, there was a substantial Iron Age settlement, again with access easily by sea. So these are quite splendid coastlines. I think John's pointed something out. Is that a buzzard up there? I couldn't even see an eagle, but yeah, I think it's a buzzard. Don't know whether you can see that or whether it's too small. There's quite a majestic buzzard up there, circling. Okay, so we've got to go all the way down this gully and all the way back up the other side. It started to spit a bit with rain, so I might put the camera away for a bit. We've just gone over a small bridge and now climbing out this gully on the other side. You can see quite spectacular rock formations. Red rock. Climbing up out of the gully. See where we've just been, and the formation of the rocks on the coast. A good view of Sheep Island as we skirt round it. I don't think we're going to go onto the island today, but it's always interesting to think of those from many thousands of years ago living on that island, and how different or how much the same it was as today, but certainly sea transportation and Pembrokeshire was on a national and international route, was probably much better connected by sea than it ever has been by land. I hope you can hear what I'm saying. It is a little bit windy around this corner. I'll try and speak up. So I'm talking about how Pembrokeshire was connected in the Iron Age and beyond by sea, and how that was the most important way of getting around. Certainly there would have been a lot of trade going to and from Pembrokeshire. Just stopped by a field of donkeys. I hope you can see them. They're a little bit far away. field. The dogs are coming up to see us, but I haven't got any food for them. But they look quite inquisitive. I'm just going to take their pictures basically. They're rather lovely animals. Let's get up close. Marking. Hello? Hello, you two? Lovely ears. And all different colours. The shaggier one, the greener one. And that looks like a slightly a baby donkey that's grown a little bit more. There's a real baby one lying down behind that with its mother. So hello you three. We'll carry on. It's just started to rain and I've now met two yellow ponchoed walkers who seem very happy to speak to me in the rain. Would you like to tell me who you are and what you're up to today?
Yeah, cool. My name's Karen. This is Kelly. We've actually come all the way from Cape Town, South Africa.
Wow.
We started in Emirates. We're finishing in Pembroke, and today we started in Marion, walking to Angle. So yeah, every day is a little bit different, and the rain, I suppose, is part of the journey.
It is part of the journey, but it's a fantastic stretch, whatever the weather. That's why I'm filming it. I film it across the year to show it in all winds and weather. It's still beautiful, whatever.
No, we've had the best walk so far. We've got tomorrow to go. So yeah, thanks.
Fantastic, thank you.
Good stuff.
Coming up to Freshwater West, you can see it's raining. Sorry about the specs on the camera. This is an interesting bit. You can see it's stepped on the way out, and it's a bit like buttresses with the way the rocks have actually formed to the side. And we've got to go down a bit and then up, and then we've got the glorious Freshwater West Bay in front of us. And here we are, walking towards the wonderful Freshwater West Bay. It's a bit windy, it's a bit rainy, but what a spectacular sight around the top of that bend. I think this is one of the amazing beaches in Pembrokeshire and on the coastline. I'd like to say the Atlantic rolling in. It's not that windy today, but you can see the waves coming in. I don't know whether it's in or out. Okay, we've got some dams to do, hence my camera this way. It wasn't quite up and down this section. Doable, but expect a lot of ups and downs. I don't know whether we've got any more before we get to the bay. And then we have a bit of road walking, and we go inland a bit because of the military zone the other side of Freshwater West. Look at these tiny white purple flowers. I think I need someone to tell me what they are. Wow. Coming down now onto Freshwater West Bay. There are lots of people out walking, despite it being a bit rainy, and it's still pretty majestic out there. We're looking at the memorial to the Royal Naval and Royal Marine personnel who perished in April 1925-26.
1943.
Sorry, 1943. Sorry, on April 25th, 26th, 1943. Do you want to carry on reading it, John?
When HM Landing Craft Gun 15 and 16, also the rescue of boat from HMS Rosemary foundered in a storm off these shores. Their names are recorded on the memorial at North Milford Haven.
Okay, and they're still remembered today. And I think we've got a list, gosh, we've got a list of all those that perished. An awful lot of people. I've just stopped for a coffee and a bit of chocolate brownie because it's rather wet today. It's raining quite a lot. Although the man here said he won't put his awning up because it's a bit windy, so I'm still getting wet, but never mind. The brownies, I can guarantee, are absolutely gorgeous. And do you want to say hello?
Hello, I'm Ryan from Get the Boys a Lift, and we are here from now until the end of September. Come and see us at Freshwater West for a coffee. Bring an umbrella.
Right. A bit hard to walk with umbrellas, you say, because that's also a bit windy as well.
Tell us a bit about Give the Boys a Lift then.
Yeah.
So,
What's more going on?
So Get the Boys a Lift is an organisation running from Freshwater West. We run a mental health service which is funded by the sales of our clothing and coffee, and it provides a free counselling service for Pembrokeshire.
Right. And in fact, I do know about you because you're in Dew Street, are you not?
We're now in Bridge Street.
Ah, right. And I've walked past your shop there.
Number 40 Bridge Street.
Yeah, number 40 Bridge Street, absolutely. I have heard of you. Okay.
And my name is Jake. I'm a former employee of Get the Boys Lift, but now a happy customer instead.
Right.
And it's probably some of the best coffee this side of the bridge.
Well, it's pretty
The
good.
Cleddau Bridge.
It feels pretty good to me, and certainly the South African ladies I met further on, they recommended your coffee.
Well, they had a sip and they were astonished at how good it was.
Okay, well they told me it was good, so there we are, and here I am. So the word goes round. So yeah, okay, thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you very much.
We've now walked out of Freshwater West, and we're walking along the road because we're not allowed into the Castle Martin range, but we just stopped at a bumblebee conservation signpost saying welcome to the Castle Martin Range Trail, setting out how you can look for bumblebees. It says unfortunately almost 24 UK bumblebees are now thought to be in decline, but I guess they're trying to get the right habitat so that they can keep the remaining ones that are here. So that's an interesting trail, the Castle Martin Range Trail. It's well signposted and waymarked. I'm in fact looking across Gupton Farm. I'm aware that our work party, that's a friend's work party, has done a fair bit of work on Gupton Farm, and it is National Trust land in or near Freshwater West. We're looking at, we're not sure what we're looking at. It looks a bit like a lavender field, not sure. Again, if you know, let me know. But you can see it's a bit of a murky day, but we're due to stomp up the road now for a bit because we can't walk along the coast due to the Castle Martin range. It's still raining, but we're just passing the chapel on the way now to Stack Rock car park. I've got rather wet glasses, but we're going to make it to the car park. Bit of a stomp along the road because we're not allowed to by the coast, but it doesn't mean we can actually make some mileage up in the rain. It's a bit wet, so here we go, last bit down this road here, and then we get to Stack Rock car park. It says keep out military firing range. They're not firing today, so we're able to do this section. So last little bit coming up in the rain, but considering I've been walking since September last year, this is probably the most rainiest day I've had so far, so it's not been so bad, and it's quite warm today. I'm not cold and wet, I'm quite warm and wet, not too bad. So here we are at Stack Rock's car park. I've certainly tried out this 360 camera well today. I can vouch for the fact that it is definitely waterproof. You may get the bubbles on the camera lens, but it's survived quite a wet afternoon's walk. But we're now back at the car park, and the next walk we're walking will be in August, when we'll be walking from Stack Rock. I can't remember where we're going to next. Might be Freshwater East or Washington, I can't remember, but we've got 3 more sections to go, and then we'll have finished the whole of the Coast Path Trail. So hope you'll join us for the next 3 sections. I'll get my wet clothes off now. Okay, over and out.